This came to my attention that 3 months ago in February, Charlie Monroe Mcalister died. Now, who is Charlie Mcalister? Well, let's put aside all the drama today you might hear on whatever is going on the internet. I mean, certainly Adam Parfrey recently died, but I think another follow up that deserves just as huge amount of attention but doesn't have to get much exposure is Charlie Mcalister. In fact, I would even argue to say that maybe Charlie Mcalister deserves an annual celebration day on his birthday on a countercurrents. uh, yeah, maybe. Well, maybe Mcalister's just as mysterious is just as mysterious as Jonathan Bowden. So, who is Mcalister? Well, too many people say, "Ooh, Neutral Milk Hotel." Ooh, this and In fact, I think Mcalister paved ways for Neutral Milk Hotel, and actually pretty much helped create what we know as the lo-fi indie rock sound. Um, he grew up in South Carolina. His high school, one of his high school friends was Shepard Fairey, who did Obey Giant, oddly enough. But Fairey became a millionaire, and Mcalister still was himself. Well, I do remember Mcalister in my lifetime. I remember he used to tour Pennsylvania a lot in the area. Um, he's very associated with Chris Fisher of Unread Records. And I remember in 2008 when I was probably just got around high school age, his 7-inch Carolina byproduct of his song I Don't Love You Anymore. I don't love you anymore. Da 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 da. That song is actually still in my head. Sometimes I would get Charlie Mcalister confused with Chris Fisher, as I thought his art was very similar to Fisher's art on Unread Records. Little did I know that Unread Records was influenced by Mcalister's own imprint, Flannel Banjo. So, Mcalister, he basically, his first tape in '89 when he was only 20, basically was just obsessed with these little homemade things, of just getting his music out and then going on to the next. One YouTube user who is friends with Mcalister has uploaded a bunch of videos online of VHS tapes from 1996, when I was only 4 or 5 years old, um, and when KMFDM's Extort album came out, and Atari Teenage Riots. 96 was a great year, and there's a young Mcalister, just in an awkward moment. I just can't believe he's been making that music since that long. In fact, it was in 1996 that John Peel on the BBC would just take one of Mcalister's track and says, "Well, here's unknown music discover." This guy from in the Swaff, I think he was saying Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, which is around the area, but I don't know if Mcalister was living there during the time, but um there was some I'm saying there was this whole Neutral Milk Hotel lo-fi love appreciation happening in 96, and Mcalister was caught into that. And probably his golden age was indeed the mid 90s. That's kind of weird to imagine. But another thing that described Mcalister from the rest was not only his lo-fi and folk rock approach, but his weird art performances, and really comical. He likes to get up to broken microphones and talk about weird stories, and kind of this character that he personifies. I remember he has this one song called Yellow Fever. I wonder what that's about. And he does this weird kind of. He has this very Mcalister has this very weird and strange way of making music, which is pretty much hard twee or bedroom rock and everything that motivates Unread Records. In fact, if you haven't listened, I did do a podcast with Chris Fisher of Unread Records. You should go listen to us and pause this video. Anyway, after when you're done pausing and play on this one, I could, I could write my own article on the death of Mcalister, but I decide to just film my reaction before anything else because I'm a busy kind of guy, and I do get camera shy. So what can I say? He just died out of nowhere. At the time when I was just getting back into his music, I found out he's dead, and it's like, what the hell, man? I don't know exactly what he died from, but hmm. I mean, oh my god, it's just some of that stuff that Mcallister was a part of. There's a lot to say about the way he thinks about art, the way he,